Hey, welcome to Nerf&Turf. My name is Andrew, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys through what I'm planning to pack for an upcoming zombie event that I'm heading out to tomorrow morning. This is at Laterno University in Longview, Texas, where the university they're hosting a HVZ event, and I'm really excited about it. I was going to pack, and I was like, I'm packing. I might as well talk to the people about it while I do it. So let me close this door over here really quick. Sorry, it took me a second to realize there was a crap ton of glare coming through there, so I was just going to close that door. So, how's it going? Just getting my lighting situated over here. So, I'm just going to go through all the basic stuff that I'm planning to pack and planning to bring with me. So, yeah. First, I guess we'll start with Alphonse. I have a full video dedicated to this. You can see it on my channel. I've got a full video for this mod, so be sure to check that out. There we go. Now I have a little bit more balanced lighting. Yeah. So I was trying to figure out my lighting for this live thing. So, yeah. Let's see. So the weather in Texas is kind of insane right now. It's going from hot to cold to pouring down rain randomly throughout the day. And so the bugs are crazy right now. So we'll get started on my Alphonse, which is all set to go. I've currently got 3 IMRs and 1 dummy battery in there. I'm planning to bring 3 more IMRs for in case that runs out. But I've been debating it, and I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to take my my Strife that has my revamps in it, because it has the thumb hole stock, or it has the battery tray remover that has the screw, that instead of a normal screw that you have to screw out, it's got this, which you can just grab and undo like that. So I'm going to switch that over, because that'll be a lot easier to do any battery changes in the field. So that's the purpose of that. If I can unscrew it. So yeah, the Alphonse, which is a Strife, that's going to be my primary for this weekend. I'm very excited to use it because I've made other blasters in the past, and I've got the Arctic, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But I loved making that blaster. But this was the first primary that I made, and when I was finished, I was like, man, I'm really proud of that. And so I'm really excited to use the Alphonse this weekend. And the goal with the Alphonse is that it's a low-powered Strife. It doesn't sound like it, possibly because I'm a 3D printed high crush cage in there, and it makes a lot of extra noise. And I'm going to go ahead and put my other Strife fully back together. There we go. Cool. So, other Strife. I love you, but you're too powerful, and you will make too many people cry in pain. Because the goal with the Alphonse is it is underpowered. It's got plenty of battery power. However, without upgraded motors, it's not hitting as hard as something with upgraded motors. Duh. But the goal with that is what I want for my blasters is not a super high power, because some people love blasters that are super high powered, super high crush cages with amazing motors in them. And the thing with those is the higher the crush, the more it's going to damage your darts, the more you're going to have jams and that kind of thing. So you can get really high FPS, but you're going to get a lot of jams. Whereas what I enjoy out of my Strife is consistency. And so I've got a decently high crush cage, but it's only 42 millimeters high crush. So that's not really that high at all. And so that's what I like out of that, though. So that's what I built that for. Cool. So I've got 3 more IMRs in this bag, simply labeled charge. And so I'm planning to bring those so I can just swap those out as needed. And what I'm planning to do is I'm bringing all my stuff in this really big black duffel bag that I found at the thrift store for I want to say it was $5 or $6. Which was amazingly cheap for a giant bag. The zippers are broken. It's not perfect, but I got it at a thrift store for really cheap, so I love it. So that's what I'm going to be packing all my stuff in this weekend. So, yeah. So that's my primary. Let's see if I can get my sling. Cool. This is a sling that I built into a single point sling by breaking off the initial attachments and just putting a carabiner on it. So that way you just attach it to the bottom sling mount on your strife, sling it behind your back, and you're set and ready to go at all times. So that's the goal with that. Yeah, very excited about that. That way I can drop it, use my hands for other such things, but especially just putting it behind my back, going throughout my day. So I'm bringing that. This is my main sling. Just going to put my bag right here. So got the sling. I'm going to go ahead and take all the parts off of it. Just because, or especially those parts, because those are the parts that are most likely going to be injured, break, in the travel. So right here is just the very compact form of Alphonse. And as you can hear, that is my lovely dog barking in the background. There's my primary, there's my battery. So technically I'm all good to go, right? No. I'll get my ammo and mags ready in a bit. See, oh, there's my lovely dog barking in the background, very loud. Give me a second, I'm gonna go tell my dog to be quiet. Aha, Sosari, I'm back. My dogs found a turtle in the other yard. Had to get onto them before they ate Mr. Turtle. They were trying to dig a hole between my yard and the neighbor's yard so they could go eat the turtle. I've got very silly, silly dogs. Love my dogs, but they're very silly, silly. So, I've got this holster that I made for my Kronos, and it can also, and I used it the other day, and it fit very well for my hammer shop. So, just gonna fix up a couple little problems I was having with it. For some of the belt loops where I'm coming undone. I just needed to get some duct tape in there and fix that up. The beauty is when a lot of your gear is made of duct tape, it can be fixed with duct tape. So that's the beauty of duct tape. But as I said earlier, this is me just getting prepped for the Laterno's HVZ Invitational that they're hosting this weekend, and that's October 13th and 14th. Yeah, because today's the 12th. That. And I'm driving out for that tomorrow. So this is going to be my holster. So the other thing that I'm super excited about is that I printed these narrow base mag holders. And I'm super stoked about these because I wasn't sure how they were going to work out, but they're working out beautifully. So I set them up so I'm going to have 3 on my waist, and that's going to be 6 mags that I can hold there. And so the goal with these is that you can have them on your waist and they're quick reloads. And so they can hang there. And so you can put 2 in each one, and I'm going to have 3, so 6 magazines. And so that way, you know, you're running around. Oh, let me change that angle. So that way I can run around, boom, magazine change, put the old magazine back in here, and continue going. And so the beauty of that is that it's really easy to get a quick magazine change. You've also got your secondary at all times, but I just found that's the easiest way to carry these things. Narrow base can be expensive, so I went ahead and just 3D printed them myself. And I've tested them out a little bit, and they're not falling out everywhere, so that's great. So I'm really looking forward to testing these out in a hard environment. Worst case scenario, you shove them in your back pocket and keep going. But I generally don't do high capacity mag play styles, and so this is going to be a new one for me, having narrow bases on. So what goal is going pew pew pew. Okay, out, reloaded. And then you can simply put an empty one here, and you can reload it later. And so that's the beauty of these narrow base mag holders. Words, get them out. But I'm super excited about those. So those are going to be on one belt, and then on a fully separate belt, I'm going to have my my secondary right here, because I'd rather have two belts instead of the one belt holding them. That way I can have them at the tension I want. For each thing, because these I want to have pretty tight on my waist, but with my secondary I want it to be pretty loose on my waist so I can still reach down and get it and it won't get in the way of my running. So that's the goal with that. And so these are my narrow base mag holders, and I'm going to load up my mags here in a bit. We'll set them all up and I'll let you see how that's supposed to look when it's fully loaded. I've also got this. It's a military grade type pouch. And this is most likely either going to become, not my dump pouch necessarily, but this is going to be the thing to hold my phone, wallet, and that kind of thing. How's it going, Josh? We have the host of this event on here. Good to see you, man. It's really just me talking to myself, having fun, and I don't really care. I was just talking about how I have the narrow base mag holders that I recently printed off, and I'm going to be doing those to hold all my mags for the event. Very excited about those. Oh, is the delay pretty bad? Yeah, it probably is. I have not the best reception where I'm at right now, but it's what I've got. And then for the second belt, I'm going to be running my secondary on it because I'm a double belted type person. So then we've got the second belt that's going to hold the secondary. So I'm double belting. This will attach to one of those belts, and this is going to hold all of my phone, keys, that kind of thing, just so I don't have it in my pocket at all times. FYI, it's probably going to rain, so you might want to bring extra dry clothes. Yeah, I was planning for that. Got all my rain jackets, and I'm even going to bring a separate loadout for the rain, just because I don't necessarily like running flywheels in the rain all the time. So I'm planning to bring a fully spring-powered loadout just in case it rains. Thank you for that heads up, though, Josh. Rain or shine, though, we're killing zombies, so no complaints there. Am I right? Yeah, let's see. Yep, cool. And so those are the basic gear type things I'm bringing. I already talked to Alphonse, already took it apart. And then we've got the secondary hammer shot here, and that'll just beautifully fit into this holster. The Springer superiority. No, I'm honestly, like, I love spring powered. They've always been my favorite, but not until I figured out how to mod when I first figured out how to mod, that was the first time I really said, ooh, flywheels can be fun, because stock flywheels are horrendous. But, you know, everything modified becomes better all of a sudden. But I don't know, I just like the way you have to pick and choose your shots when you're running spring powered as opposed to flywheels, because flywheels, anything could go wrong, especially with the rain coming this weekend, which is why the loadout I just discussed was just my hammer shot and my strife, bringing those in. But I know that that's possibly not going to work if it's raining, just because I don't want to run that blaster out in the rain. And so, 'cause to go ahead and load up some of my mags. So for Josh, I know you're running the event, but my question for you is, if you were just slaying zombies for the weekend, what would your loadout be? Question for you, because I love your loadouts, and so I'd love to know that. There we are. I got some brand new darts for my birthday that I still haven't opened, so I was saving for this event. Knowing full well I'm going to lose the majority of them, but that's the beauty of it. That sound of just fresh, crisp darts, and they haven't been stepped on and shot 20 billion times. They even have like that interesting, actually that's not a great smell. I'm going to be honest about that. But yeah, please comment below for anyone watching what your loadout would be if you were slaying zombies with me this weekend. Whether you're Cherry Bomb, the 5-kilogram retaliator. Did you have one the day you came here to Arlington? I was trying to remember. I know you had a retaliator. That was probably it then. I haven't worked on any of my retaliators yet. Because I love because I found 2 retaliators. Okay, I remember you shooting with that one. I've got film of you shooting with that one on the channel. I remember that. You were getting some sweet kills with that thing. Because that's the thing. I love just the consistency you get out of spring-powered blasters. Because you know how they shoot. You know how it operates. No, you're not getting the fastest rate of fire necessarily, but you're being consistent. And for me, I feel more like an operator when I'm running around and having to load each shot, because each shot matters at that point. I feel like I can John Wick a little bit better that way. But that is a sweet loadout. And it's named Cherry Bomb. Interesting name. Is that due to the paint scheme on it? So as I said earlier, with my narrow base magazine holders, I'm going to be able to hold 6. And so I've got 3 18-rounders. I used to have 4. Yeah, it's due to the paint scheme. Cool. I used to have 4 18-rounders, but my little bro and I, we went to Jared's epic Nerf battle 3 this past year. And we had bought some extra mags and that kind of thing. And my brother, we had such a good time at that, by the way. It's absolute madness at Jared's epic Nerf battle. There's not really extreme competitive play. It's more just having fun with so many people with Nerf blasters. But we lost one of our mags just because, it falls out of pockets. Even if you have mag holders, they're going to fall. And so I'm only down to 3 18-round magazines. But then I've got 2 10s, a 12, and then I think I have another 10. We're going to find out. And if not, I'll just run to 25 and probably lose it. Because the problem with running 25-rounders or 35-round drums is that they're so big they won't fit in these holders, and you're most likely just going to lose it. Or you could stab it in and just know it's just going to take up extra room, and that might end up be what I end up doing. Will this be my first HVZ? It will. The only other HVZ events I've done are the ones I've done on my campus, and they're not like official HVZ events. Like I've got videos of them on the channel, but it was we've got a ministry house with my church. We've got a ministry house, and and I helped lead some part of that ministry for a couple of years. And so within this ministry house, it's a 2-story. It's got an outside roof that you can run around on, and then property around it. And so we played a zombie game there. Or actually, we played a whole day of where we did Trouble in Terrorist Town. We played zombies, and just the very generic. You draw cards. One person's the zombie, and then they start killing everybody. And so we did some of those, and we had so much fun with that because we're running all over the place. You get good cardio. You have to learn how to be smart with your darts. And so that's the only zombie type events I've done. Those and just small things like that I've hosted. But no, this is my first official HVZ event, and I can't tell you how excited I am about this. I've been looking forward to this all week. I had a nursing exam this morning, and I was just waiting to get through that exam so I could load up my gear and come play HVZ. So excited. It starts tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., so I'm planning to leave here around 6:30 or 7, just so I can make sure I get there in time and get a little breakfast before we run and chase zombies for life. I'm just so excited. School's just been getting to me recently. And so last weekend I went out to my family's property in Mount Vernon, Texas, shot guns off, like real firearms off. Just had so much fun with that. I even brought an airsoft rifle of mine and just fired as fast as I could into the disgusting murky pond there. Just to have that epic scene from every movie you've ever watched where like the water's going. That's what I did with airsoft rifles this weekend. So sweet. If you're just now joining us, just loading up magazines, getting ready for the zombie event this weekend. And the question for you, if you're just now joining us, is if you were to play zombies, what blasters would you bring? And yes, these are brand new darts that I got for my birthday that I get to open. And I've been just waiting because I've had these for like almost 2 months now. But I've just been waiting for the right time to get them out. And today is that time. And then, yeah, I'm shoving them all into magazines, and then I'm probably just going to take the top one out of each because the top one always gets a little crumpled. That's the problem with storing your mags loaded overnight, but I'm okay with crumpling the top one, just moving it to the second one. It'll work fine. And I, because I live inside thrift stores, not really, but I go to them a lot. I found an 18 dart drum, which was just so weird because right here I've got a 25 and then I've got an 18 dart drum. I don't know what blaster that originally came with. But it's just so neat looking, just how small it is. But it still fits 18. Not the FVJs, are they? And those are the ones that are hard tipped. No, I'm quite sure these are soft tipped because I get a squeeze out of them whenever I squeeze it. But no, they're not like the extremely hard ones that have no give in them whenever you're squeezing on them. So these should be good to go. Unless you're looking at it and you're like, nope, those are definitely the painful ones. And if so, let me know. No, they're soft. They're not as soft as normal Nerf, but they still have the air inside. They still have the hole, so they still have give to them. So they should be good. And Hudson has joined us. How's it going, Hudson? We're just loading up magazines with brand new darts that have like that brand new dart smell to them. Very similar to the brand new car smell, but even better because they're Nerf darts. And everyone knows that brand new Nerf darts are better than cars. No, but they're still pretty sweet. Did I just compare brand new Nerf darts to a brand new car smell? What's the matter with me? But anyway, again, that's an 18 dart drum, and it's just so neat. Cool. That's all right, Hudson. Glad you can join us for however long you can. So the part that everyone hates most about playing with Nerf is picking up darts at the end of a game and loading darts up. So I figured I would just have fun by doing this live and talking to people while I loaded up my magazines. And I just wanted to go ahead and talk through my stuff. So just got a couple more drums to go through. And then I'll go through the secondary loadouts I'm going to be bringing, because I'm planning to bring, as I've said before, I'm planning to bring multiple loadouts with me since it's possibly going to rain this weekend, because I know it's been raining a lot at my house. So I was already going, okay, I'll just plan to bring a fully spring powered, just because I don't want to have electricity out with me in the rain too much. And I also wanted to talk about an old blaster mod that I did, and that was the Arctic. Let me show you that. This was the first flywheel mod that I ever did, where I fully painted the blaster up afterwards. And I'm still really proud of this one. I love this blaster. Reasons I'm not taking it with me are it's just an odd setup. The original Modulus ECS-10, I think is what it's called. I don't know. The problem with it is, it's too long to stock the blaster itself. But then, wait 2 seconds. But then once you add a stock to it, it becomes a little too long to just sling this and call it your primary. It becomes incredibly long. So it's great if I'm sniping or something, but with a flywheel blaster, you're not exactly sniping. So it becomes extremely long. The only way to get an attachment point for a sling is on here or here. And that's just an odd setup for your sling, because there's not one on the actual blaster itself. And the other thing I have against the original Modulus is how the magazine is here. And that means the motors, their flywheels are here. And so it's ejecting the dart out from here. And this is so much dead space where the dart can get caught, clogged, and slowed down. And yet there's a muzzle on top of that, or the barrel extension on top of it. But still, that's a significantly more area for the dart to be dragged through. And so it's still a fantastic looking blaster. And I still love this one. Learned a lot after making this blaster. Learned a lot of what to do and what not to do when modding flywheel blasters. Also, one of the biggest differences that I learned was over and under weathering, or like an overtone and an undertone when weathering. Because with this one, I only did an undertone, where, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call it an undertone because I've got the silver. And so there were accent colors. It looks like damage and that kind of thing. But it's still very one-dimensional damage. As opposed to with the Alphons, what I tried to do with this, and my goal with it, was to have over and undertones. And so there's very subtle silver damage spots on it. And then there's also the overtones, which are like the golden, dirt, rust, scrapes, those kind of things. But then there's still a nice, very subtle undertone, like on ridges and that kind of thing. And so with that, it adds more depth to it. I'm planning to still figure out and do more research into what I need to make even more depth to my weathering process. Again, with like parts like this, with the handle, it started off brown. I added the silver undertone and then finished it off with a golden overtone. So that way it's just got a very nice full finish to it. And also, as I was talking about the drag with this, is one of the major reasons. So just out of comparison, what happens is with the Strife, magazines lined up, the motors lined up for flywheels. This is where the dart is ejected on the Strife. Meaning here, the blaster itself can no longer slow down the dart's trajectory. Whereas with the Modulus, there's still another, good 4 to 6 inches here for the barrel to drag and slow down the dart. Because the difference is with, and then this is just here for cosmetics because it looks cool. Because the difference between plastic or flywheel and air-powered blasters with Nerf and stuff is the longer the barrel is, that's the more area there is for it to drag the dart down and slow it down. As opposed to let's say like a firearm, where a sniper rifle is a long one. The real reason you want a long barrel with a sniper rifle is because it's compressed air, because it's combustion. And so, when the gunpowder is striked at the back of the bullet and it's ejecting it, it's compressed. And so the longer it is, the more area there is for the compression to speed up the bullet. And then when it's released, it then begins to slow down because all the energy is being dispersed as opposed to controlled into an area. So that's the beauty of firearms, why you want a long barrel with firearms. As opposed to these, you're not really storing any extra energy by having a longer barrel, unless there are certain, like the Caliburn and other blasters that have a very nice breech system where it's a very snug fit. Whereas with those, the dart is just barely squeezing through. So it is controlling the power, and it's all the energy being controlled to eject the dart as fast as possible, as opposed to a simple flywheel or a simple spring blaster where it's just trying to puff a little air behind it. With that, so much air is already escaping around the dart because they don't fit fully through it. And so that's why you don't want that long of a barrel. And then that also leads me into why I design my 3D printed parts the way I do. Like with my barrel extension on the Alphons, for example. Whenever I designed it with a wide enough diameter so the dart's not going to get caught. The dart can just easily go through it. I haven't had any jams. I haven't had any slowing down, because the goal is that this is bigger than the dart already, as you can hopefully see. And so it's not controlling any energy. It's not pushing any extra energy behind the dart. And then the goal with this, my attachment, is that it also is so wide that it won't slow the dart down. And so it can add cosmetic. It can look great. It can look really cool. But it's not going to slow your dart down at all. But you can still have a cool barrel extension. Same with, I've made sniper barrels and those kind of things that still aren't incredibly long. But the goal with them is that the diameter is wide enough that it's not going to slow the dart down any extra, if that makes any sense. So that's just a brief explanation on that. I'm not an engineering student. I'm not a physicist by any means. So if you understand this better than I do, please feel free to give me more information if I'm just wrong. But from what I can tell and what research I have done, because my brother's an engineer and he and I are very engineer minded, although I decided to go into nursing instead because I like medicine and blood and that kind of thing. It's not weird. But yeah. And so that's the odd thing behind Nerf science, is there's not at all the same science that goes behind firearms and those kind of things. You can't carry over logic with those kind of things. Sorry, I know I went off on a very long tangent there. I like bunny trails and tangents, and I usually use my hands way too much when I talk. And Erin Mayer, how's it going, man? All right, I almost have enough darts. It's Erin! So, Erin, you're going to be there this weekend, right? I think I know you are. I think you said you are. Clarifying. So, my question for Josh is how do you get people to volunteer to be zombies for events such as this? I mean, because it's the idea of you're asking somebody to join something, but they're not. I don't know the answer to that. You're currently preparing? Cool, sweet. But for Josh, how do you get people to volunteer to be zombies? Are we talking people that just love to wear a lot of weird makeup and clothes? Or how do you get somebody to actually want to do that? Really, some people just love being the original zombie. Interesting. Being the zombie is fun. I'm not like kicking it. I love being the zombie. But no, I've always wondered who really thinks in their day, I can't wait to be the original zombie. Interesting. Cool. Because I know for me, like I plan around my gear and I'm so excited for my gear. And I just can't imagine somebody going from, oh, I packed all my gear and I'm so excited to I'm a zombie and I'm still excited. But my mindset may change when I get there and realize, oh, heck, zombies have fun. And then I might choose to just voluntarily become a zombie. Probably won't happen, but I might. So I now have all of my mags filled up with brand new darts. And as Josh mentioned earlier, I made sure they were the soft tips so you can still get a good squeeze out of them. Ooh, is Erin one of the mods? Sweet. Cool. That's awesome. So all set with those, all set with my narrow base mag holders. So Erin, my question for you is what gear are you prepping and what are you planning to be using at this wonderful event? Okay, so we have the narrow base mag holders here that I 3D printed. So the goal with these is that you can get really nice, easy mag changes. And yes, the farther back I go, the harder it is to reach and get to it. But the goal is that I've got those prepared so I can do really quick, easy mag changes throughout the day, and that they don't, come off when I shake and that kind of thing. And so the goal is that they actually stay on my body. Yes, they're going to make clinky, clinky, clink sounds. But this is opposed to when I used to play, I would literally just take my mag and just stuff it in my back pocket and just be good. But I'm very excited to get a good use out of these. Also that I was able to 3D print them. I mean, just having a 3D printer is like one of my favorite birthday presents ever. That tied with my wife took me to see a comedian this past weekend. Last weekend. It was hilarious. And so laugh, it's good for the soul. But also chasing zombies is good for the soul. So do that too. But yeah, so these are the mags I'm planning to run. But I've also got drum mags on that I'm going to have in my backpack just as the backups, just in case. You're going to be using a Hades and a hammer shot. Okay, out of all the blasters that have recently come out, I've got to say the Hades is the one that intrigues me the most. Because I know doing research, the Artemis looked really cool. And then they basically just made a bigger Artemis. So that's sweet. Bringing your Hades, that's like a 60 shot capacity. That's so I'm also going to be having a hammer shot for my secondary. Don't know why I took this off. Let me put this back on. So just as a basic rundown, and because I'm weird, I like to run 2 belts. So that way I can have the belts tightened up for exactly what I want them for, because I like for my secondary to be a little looser and I like for my magazines to be a little tighter on my body. And so I run 2 belts. So I'm going to have and this is generic basic loadout numero uno. And if it rains, I will be switching this up because I don't want to run my flywheel in the rain. But as it currently stands, if we have a perfect dry day, which we probably won't, this is my loadout. So what I've got is my primary, Alphonse. I've got my 6 magazines here, 2 18s, 1 18, a 12, and 2 10s. So no, not max capacity, but it's what I'm planning to run. I'm okay with that. Primary, mags. I can just put that single sling behind my back. And then I've got my secondary, which I'll most likely wear like right here. So it's a really easy, quick pop out. So yeah, that's what I'm planning to run. That is setup numero unos. And we'll see how that actually to run. I'm also going to have this bag on my back that's also going to have like my phone and that kind of thing. Just because I don't want to run with my phone in my pocket that can fall out. Because phones are important. I only hear. I don't really know for sure. because my phone's been broken for about a week, or really about 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm still alive. So apparently we can live without phones, ladies and gentlemen. Don't know exactly how, but it is possible. See, Erin said, since my Strife is currently out of commission, using the Hades and the Hammer Shot. Cool. Sweet, sweet. I'm also planning to bring some of my 3D print just to hand out to some people. I'm just bringing some simple, like, hollow sights, those kind of things. And so, yeah, I am planning to bring some of these, a couple small barrels. I'll most likely just bring orange ones because we generally don't like to run around with bright black barrels and that. So, yeah, I plan to bring some of those. I'll just have a bag of those that I'll be bringing. Yeah, I just like the 2 belt system because I know for me, whenever I've done 1 belt before, you've just got an odd weight on your hips because you're going to have all your mags over here and then just a blaster over here, and it just feels odd. When you run, it all bounces at the same time with you, as opposed to when you have 2 belts. I've got my mags as tight on my hip as possible, and then I've got my secondary that also has a makeshift drop leg holster thing that I made so I can tie it to my thigh. And so then the goal with that is that one's going to be a little looser, so it's hanging lower. So that way I've got everything at the exact tension I want it, and it won't necessarily be bouncing around at the same time. Like, so you won't be a giant hippo just bouncing your hips. Instead, this is really tight to you, and this might be bouncing a bit, but I want that to be bouncing a bit, if that makes sense. And so that's just the way I like to do it. I'm not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong. It's just the way I enjoy doing it. Let's see. Then I'm planning to bring some dump pouches that I got at Jared's Epic Nerf Battle 3. Because Nerf was there and they were handing stuff out to people. So I'm planning to bring those dump pouches just to have my extra ammo ready to go. So I'll load that all up in a second. So that's primary loadout numero uno. California Nerf, how's it going, man? Just going over loadout. So that was loadout number 1. Ooh, before I continue, something funny I wanted to show you. So I've got a dear friend of mine. It's been moving around a lot. He was in my wedding. Really, really great guy. He came to some of my first Nerf events. But he dropped this off at my house the other day. It's a Halo Boomco blaster, and I've never owned a Boomco blaster before. But he dropped this off with me yesterday, and I'm just so intrigued by these things because they don't have a lot of power, but they're fairly accurate. I mean, when they fly with a Nerf dart, you know, it flies and then changes trajectory about 5 times mid-flight. These things don't. I mean, they don't always go exactly where you're aiming, but whenever they fly, their trajectory remains the same. So it's incredibly interesting. And I know that I know Broke Nerfing has been showing some stuff. I think it's Boom Tendo who's planning to like make a third-party alternative to these kind of things. And man, I want to put some stock in that because these are fantastic. I'm trying to figure out, I already found some files to 3D print these clips. You just got to add brass barrels to them and that kind of thing. But I'm already trying to figure out how to get more of these clips, more of these darts or straws. I don't know what you want to call them. But I know, because I know, Josh, you have your Halo pistol, like the small one that's got like a really heavy spring in it. And I remember when you brought that to my ward, that was insane how hard that thing was hitting. And I just know I saw that. And then when I got this, I was like, I wonder what more I can do to that thing. So I'm planning to tamper a little bit more with Boomco. Sorry, just getting some supports out of this other barrel adapter thing I'm taking this weekend. But yeah, because I just wanted to bring some of those and hand them out because they're, yes, your M6, that's what it is, the itty bitty pistol. That thing hits so hard because I know that Out of Darts, he talks about his a lot. And it just looks so interesting. And then when I saw you bring yours and shoot it at my ward that time, I was just so impressed by how fantastic that was. Sorry, just taking support out of barrel. Ba-ding! Oh yeah, I also have Etsy orders I need to fill and finish today, so I'll be doing that later. But yeah, I just get so many cheap, fun things from thrift stores. I think this was a thrift store find. It's like a military bag. It's just so fun. Just all the amazing things I find. So loadout number 1, the Strife and the Hammer Shot. Next, I'm not even considering it a loadout. I'm considering it the blaster that's going to be in my bag that I most likely will be pulling out during the zombie battle. The Dart Zone Magnum. I took my, it's got like this weird foldable floppy wrist stock thing. I ripped that off because it was just getting in my way. But I'm planning to bring this tomorrow. Don't even know if I'll run it. I might just have it in case somebody else's blaster malfunctions or explodes, so they can just have this because it's a beautiful blaster. The Magnum is a 40 dart cylinder. That's a massive cylinder. That's a lot of darts. And the beautiful thing about this for zombies is you can reload as you go. And so you don't have to take your mag out and be exposed. You can just reload as you go. Because I know whenever I played zombies at my ministry house and we're running around, when my Strife ran out, one of the zombies who was shot down had one of these. And I picked it up and just wrecked the rest of the night. So this thing is beautiful. I think it also shoots like 90 feet per second, which is a little high. So I'll try not to hit people point blank. But what our max is 130 for Nerf. It's broke nerfing. How's it going, man? Good to see you. But what? Because our max is going to be 130 Nerf and high impact rounds, and then 120. For Boomco, or 110, something like that. Very excited just to bring this as a backup in case anyone needs it, or in case all of my other blasters explode. Not that I don't like it. I love this blaster. It's just not a loadout, if that makes sense. This would just be me running around with one blaster, which that might be what it comes down to. I don't know. But I'm definitely planning to bring that. And then my backup of backups. It's going to be expensive when I lose it all. Rival Brain. Because I got an Artemis for my birthday. Because I'm at the point where I don't really buy blasters anymore. The only blasters I ever buy, blasters that I buy are from the thrift store. And so when I got these for my birthday, I was so happy. So I just got a very simple non-modified Chronos because I've got my modified Chronos, but that thing hurts too bad. So I've got this, my unmodified Chronos, and I'm probably just going to put a jam door thing in. I'm probably going to bring my speed loaders for my Chronos just so you can just pop those darts in, or balls, rounds, whatever you want to call them, in fast. I've got my hollow sights that I made for my rival products. Nope. Well, you are broke nerfing. You wouldn't buy anything new, would you? I've got my hollow sight that I'm bringing. Only problem is it doesn't fit in a holster when it's got that on it. So most likely just going to take it off that and put it on me. So very excited about that. So that's just going to be a backup loadout, if that makes sense. That I'm planning to bring is just these, because this is a 30 dart capacity that you can just dump extra rounds in. And so that's the plan with those. And don't forget to bring socks. Tank are not a myth. I've heard people talk about socks. I didn't know that was that serious of a thing. So there's going to be tanks. So you're going to need socks. Is it like the thing where the socks are the only thing that destroy the tanks, or like socks and mega darts or whatever? I know rules can change from place to place. And don't forget to bring a change of undies. Broke nerfing. You sound like my mom, but you're correct. No, I'm planning to bring a lot of change of clothes. I'm planning to bring rain jackets. And for me, it's less the extra pair of undies. It's more the extra pair of socks. The thing, like whenever I was hiking in the mountains and I worked in the mountains, the thing that got me the most wasn't having like dirty underwear. I could live with dirty underwear. It's when you have dirty socks. that like have moisture in them that you can't like that you have to squeeze out every time. Oh man, it's dirty socks that kill me. You're making me lean forward and squint my eyes. That's so mean of you, but you're right. So the tanks for this weekend can only be stunned by socks. We may not introduce them this game. It depends on how the balance goes. Cool. So that's like broke nerfing. How dare you make me stare like this into the camera? But I did, so there we go. I don't have any shame. I don't really care. But this is going to be my... I honestly debated, I shot myself in the foot. That was on purpose mostly. But I was planning originally to just bring this as my primary. But then when I made Alphons, I was too in love with it that I was like, I have to bring Alphons. So I'm planning to run Alphons unless it's raining and unless the world is terrible. And then I'll be bringing this bad boy. And so this is what I'll bring as the secondary so that I have a spring-powered blaster ready. I'm basically just going to be bringing plenty of extra Nerf darts in these dump pouches, and then I'm going to be bringing plenty of extra rival rounds because I was also given rival rounds for my birthday. So, I mean, man, my family knows me too well. What I got for my birthday was a 3D printer, a butt ton of Nerf darts, and a butt ton of rival rounds. I mean, I've got a great family. I think my in-laws got me the darts, actually. My in-laws are, like, the best ever. I love them. But in general... that's the loadouts. Again, it sounds weird because I am bringing 3 loadouts, and it's not like one's my favorite, one's my less favorite. It's just I want to have options, and I also find it fun to switch. Don't want to be stuck doing the same thing all day. But I'll go ahead and show you guys that full loadout just doing your team. I'm still laughing. You made me. Jason, you made me. You made me look at the camera like that. I'm still a little upset about that, but well done. Because Ragnar October is Cali this weekend, right? And that's like y'all's like there's a tournament. It's not just zombies. Like a huge deal of it is it's a tournament. Or is there even any zombies? It might just be tournament style, but I know you guys have that. So just to show the loadout again, I'm going to tilt this down a little bit. So I've got these narrow base mag holders here. And that's how I'm going to be holding all 6 of my mags this weekend. And I 3D printed all these myself. I didn't design or make these. These are like everywhere on the internet. And I run with 2 belts because I like to have this belt a little looser because I like to have it lower so I can tie my drop leg holster thingy-majigger to my thing. And if it gets too high, it really rides on your crotch, and that's no fun. So I have it a little lower, and that's how I like that. So that also that's fully separate from the belt that's holding these. So I can make that as tight as I want and as close to my body as I possibly want. And so when I run, the weight's separate. It doesn't feel like the whole thing is just pulling on you. So that's my secondary, the hammer shot, ready to go. I'm not going to put all the extended parts on Alphons. I'm just going to put Alphons on a string. So, primary. Pew, 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 pew. Oh, no, I'm out of darts. Pew, 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 pew. And then if this is empty, hypothetically, I can then just put that back in here and reload it at a more convenient time when I'm not being chased by zombies. And then I've got all 6 of my mags because each of these holds 2 magazines. So that's how I'm holding mags. This is how I'm holding my primary on the single sling. So I can just whoosh, gone. And yes, those are Desolator mags because why not? And then hammer shot. Here's my secondary. It could be that I change and just use my Chronos as my secondary at the last minute just because I love my Chronos way too much, like an unhealthy amount almost. And I'll be bringing my Chronos, so I might make that switch. So in general, that is my loadout. I'll have all the extra pieces on here, but I already have them taken down and placed in my bag. So that's what I'm planning to run as my primary loadout. Worst case scenario, we wake up tomorrow and it is pouring rain, lightning everywhere, and I don't want to be running around with volts in my hand because I'm a smart human being. I drop this. I don't use the electronic blaster, and I'll most likely go to this and have my Artemis as my primary. And then if I'm going rival, I might as well go whole hog and just go Chronos, Artemis. I won't have these. I'll probably instead just have dump pouches on my hip just filled with rival rounds. So I can just move those rival rounds into here and reload as I go. Love this blaster because it is slam fire, so you're still getting a decent rate of fire. It doesn't matter how accurate it is because you're only shooting whenever it's really close to you. Not like 2 feet away because that's mean to zombies. Zombies have feelings too, guys. Come on. But yeah, so that's what I'm planning as my second loadout. And then the tertiary loadout, or the third loadout for you laymen, is simply the Magnum because it's 40 darts and it's really loud and it's intimidating. Really intimidating, and that's really bad for the plunger tube, so I don't do that anymore. But this is also the blaster I'm going to bring and just hand out if somebody needs an extra blaster. I'll probably bring a couple things like that, just have extras for people. So that's my loadout. That's what I'm planning to bring. I'm very excited about this stuff. I put a lot of effort and preparation and planning into all of these. And then I'm just going to load up rival rounds and normal darts and that kind of thing for the rest of the day. And my wife gets home from work, and so I'm going to stop doing that so I can spend some quality time with her because she's really important. She's pretty cool. I also debated, because I got a Zeus finally, and I'm so stoked by these things. Flywheel rival blasters are a weird mix, because I just don't feel like the flywheels really get that great of a hit on the rival rounds. So I realize a lot of people love the Nemesis and those kind of things, and Prometheus, and I know those are great. But I just know with this, it's just such a weird clicking sensation whenever you fire it. That I'm very intrigued what the Nemesis and those kind of things feel like, just because I love this blaster so much, because I actually feel like I have a P90 in my hands. Because I don't know, the P90 might be one of my favorite blasters ever. So flywheel. I'm just so intrigued by this. It's such an odd feeling, but shoots very well. I'm not planning to bring this though this weekend because magazine fed rivals. I don't have a great storage mechanism to carry rival mags on my body yet. So 1 second, I'm going to read some comments. Sorry, it's hard to read comments when you have a bajillion, Lillian, William things attached to your baddie. Back to secondary there. Sorry, I'm just basically making a lot of sounds at this point because I'm a sounds-based human being. Also, the thing I am the most terrified nervous for is that I show up at this event, I've put all this planning into making a loadout, and I turn zombie within the first 10 minutes. I'm going to laugh so hard if that's what happens. But yeah, those are the narrow base mag holders, which are really sweet things. I remember the first time I saw them, I thought they were weird until I realized your pockets can only hold a certain number of mags. Go figure. Bringing my extra drums, the primary, my beautiful Alphonse. What I found, I sound like the little princess girl now, my beloved Alphonse. So I've got those two as my main primaries. I've got my second loadout secondary, my second loadout primary, my sling, my hat, but I'm keeping that on my head. But that's what I'm planning to bring tomorrow also, because it's really great to turn backwards and mount your GoPro too. So that's why I love this hat. Also, this is my mountain climbing hat, so I like this. Cool. We'll see, that all barely fits in there. So yeah, those are the loadouts that I'm planning to bring. Super excited about them. Now I'm going to load up some of these and get the rest of my darts out. And while I do that, I'm going to read your comments and comment on the comments. So you happy? You happy? You happy, Broken Nerfing? Ragnar October is humans versus zombies. It's a BTA tournament, super stock event, sniper event, also a meet and greet with Drac, Xavier, and all of the other people. Sweet. Because I talk about him a lot, but out of darts, I love him so much. But I know he's also going to be there. But sweet, Ragnar October sounds like this amazing event you guys get to do over in Cali. That's so cool that you guys have the community for that. Texas community is growing, and I'm so excited that Laterno University wanted to put this one on in Longview. I'm so excited to get to play. And ooh, it's raining now. Cool. As I know it's going to be raining a lot tomorrow. Yeah, Luke's coming. That's what I thought. And thank you, Hudson, for reminding us all that it's going to rain most of the day tomorrow. Yeah, I'm just going to get really wet. But the truth is, if you were surviving the zombie apocalypse and it was raining, would you go home? I mean, possibly, but I don't plan to. Oh, you guys, okay. Yeah, Hudson was saying they were going to go to Six Flags, like the place with Six Flags, that one, the Six Flags. But yeah, it's going to be raining in Texas for the most part. All day tomorrow. As wonderful as rain is. And I'm weird. I love rain. I'm a rain person. I used to hate rain, especially when I was camping because I hated getting wet. But now I'm at the point where I love rain. I love getting wet as long as I've got the proper gear, and I've got plenty of wet gear I'll be taking. Because this bag is just my Nerf loadout bag. I'm also going to have a backpack that's going to have my own personal, like, change of clothes, my wet gear, and that kind of thing. Ooh, you guys have a mod party leading up to Ragnarok? That's awesome. If you want a story about rain and HVZ, WSC. I want to hear about WSC when I'm there. So, Josh, I have a question for you. I think you had posted this to your page once, but it was an event because there was an event in Kansas, I think it is, that's like a zombie survival event. And I know I got very interested in that, and I was trying to do some more research. But I'm legitimately thinking about that. I think it's in May, you said, and it's like an HVZ survival event. And I just remember you posted a share on it once. And I would love to hear more about that thing. Can't even remember the name of it. But I'm such an outdoorsy camping survival person. I was asking about, I think you had posted on Facebook, the event in Kansas, I think, where it's like a zombie survival outdoor event. I was just trying to remember the name of that thing, because I know you mentioned it that time. But it just sounded very interesting, because I'm a very outdoorsy survival, I've fought bears, mountain lions kind of person. So I love those kind of things. Is that WSC? Okay. And that's in May? Correct me if I'm wrong. Because I already put it on my calendar, I think. And then my wife found it the other day on my calendar and went, "What is this?" And I was like, "I kind of know, but don't really know. But I kind of plan to go there." Because that'll be right after I graduate. And so that'll kind of be my, hey, I graduated. I'm a nurse. So let's go shoot zombies and be a mature adult. Because that's me, the mature adult. So that's WSC. Sweet. I honestly need to do more research into that, but I'm very intrigued. That's probably something I'm going to be spending my time in May doing. Very excited about that. So This holds about 100 to 200-ish darts. These are these things that they handed out at Jared's Epic Nerf Battle 3 because Nerf came, and that was pretty sweet. Okay, sweet. So it is at the end of May. So I will have graduated, and so I can go. Sweet. But yeah, I've been very intrigued by that idea of like an overnight survival zombie thing. Because I know in my Boy Scout troop, we always wanted to have like epic airsoft wars where you would have we'd go to somebody's property, you would split up into two teams, and it would like be an overnight airsoft war where you like would have to have guards and you would have to have sentries. Those kind of things always just sound so much fun to me. And so I'd love to find a way to do something like that with Nerf and zombies. And I know we're still building up our community here in Texas, but I want to get to a point where that's like a thing that we can legitimately do here in Texas and just have so much fun with it. Yeah, sorry, I like to talk a lot. Sweet. But isn't Kansas like flat and like Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore? So like, can't you see the zombies coming for 50 miles away? I'm making a joke there. My wife is from Nebraska, and so I have to make fun of Nebraska about every time we talk about where she grew up because there's just a lot of corn in Nebraska. And actually, I think we did research. The thing that's sent out of Nebraska the most is, I actually want to say it's like beans and pork and that kind of thing. So things that you wouldn't expect to come out of Nebraska come out of Nebraska. So these are my extra darts that I'm planning to teak. These and probably a couple other bags filled with stuff. And then I've got high impact rounds that I got off of Amazon. Sweet. The WSC sounds so interesting. It's on my calendar, so I'm going basically. And so then I'm planning to bring headshot rounds, which I'm still trying to figure out how I feel about them. Because the thing about off-brand products is they're never as good. I know a lot of like AccuFakes and those kind of things. To me, those are just as good as AccuStrike. But headshot rounds, I'm not fully convinced on because they each different one has a different density and texture. Like this one right here feels like an air puff, whereas this one's a little thicker. So I don't know. They're cheaper, so I like that, but they're not fantastic. And just to let you know, it's pouring down rain here, so give me a quick timeout. I need to put my dogs inside so they don't get a cold. Be right back. Sorry about that. How's everybody doing? Sorry, it's very wet outside. And I have two wonderful dogs, and one of them gets ear infections really easily, so I needed to get her inside before she got soaked. I'm not kidding. It was like pouring monsoon when I walked out there. Like my hat is already, the bill is soaked. Also, funny fact, I walk outside and I see my dogs, and they've been trying to corner a turtle in my neighbor's backyard all day. And so I walk over, and they've got a trench dug almost into my neighbor's backyard, and they're still trying to chase this turtle down. My dogs are stupid. But once we're done with this, I'm going to need to go inside and dry their ears out because they get their ear infections really easily. But yeah, just talking about headshot ammo. The second company, or like one of those off-brand companies that makes Nerf products. not as fantastic as the Nerf high impact rounds. They're much cheaper, so I like that, but they're just not as good, if that makes sense. So I'm planning to just fill up a couple hundred of these to bring to stock up my Artemis as we go, if I end up running that one. So I was talking to my friend Adam Scott, or Cusco, as he's also known, and I was asking what he was bringing, and he's bringing his Vortex Nitron and a Maverick, just because he's an absolute goober, and he is hilarious, and he loves retro oddity blasters. And so I was telling him about my loadout and all these mods I've made to him, and he was like, "Oh, cool! Yeah, I'm bringing a Nitron and a Maverick." I think I actually give me 2 seconds. So like he said, he's bringing one of these, a Nitron, which is a fully automatic disc shooting one. And then he's bringing a Maverick. He's also a great zombie. I bet he is. I really bet he is. He is. I remember when we played with him, I think I one of the videos I made with him, I labeled the whole video "Somebody Got Cusco" because he is that hard to tag. But this is his loadout. That guy just cracks me up, and I bet he's going to kick my butt, and I'm going to laugh so hard. It's so exciting. I mean, I really bet he is. Cusco is probably going to be the best one out there. But one of the other interesting things that I'm excited for with this event is that I'm not running it. And so I'm very grateful that you're running this one, Josh. But just because all the other nerfing events I've gotten to do recently, I was running myself. And so it's this odd thing where you can't play all out and you can't get truly competitive because your job is to make sure everybody else is having a good time and making sure everyone's having fun. And I love that part of running events and having fun with people. But one of the reasons I'm excited to go to somebody else's event is I can truly play all out. I can have fun and I can try. And not say I don't try whenever people come to my event, but my job at that time is to make sure everybody's having a good time. And this is one where I can just have fun, relax, and just goof off with people and play with Nerf. So I'm so looking forward to your event, Josh. I'm so excited that you're running this thing. I know it's going to be great. And yeah, it's probably going to rain. There's probably going to be hiccups. But, man, we're going to have so much fun the whole time. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also bringing just a full bag of 100 rounds. So my bag is very full. Very full. That's thanks. I know, man. I'm not even worried. I know you're going to do awesome. We're going to have fun, and that's the goal. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is fun. Cool. And then I'm also planning to bring a couple parts just to hand out. Because I know everyone at Laterno basically knows how to 3D print before they were 2 years old. So I know you guys are going to have much better stuff than I have. But I just wanted to show you guys some of my stuff, get some feedback, and just hand some stuff out. Let's see, what am I missing? What am I missing? Ooh. All right, so those are the parts that I'm planning to bring and hand out. Let's see, what else am I missing? Oh, I was going to show you this one random part, while I'm being random and rambling, because I do those very well. I had a barrel extension I made that was like a brick compensator that I still haven't put on my shop because I'm still not sure what I feel about it. But it's this. And it's just a rectangle. But it just looks really sweet. Just let me know what you think about that. Plan to put that on my shop eventually, but I haven't yet because I'm still trying to figure out what I think of it. Let's see. Have I done everything I went out to do? I have a bag loaded with Nerf supplies that I'll plan to use all weekend. I'm very excited about that. Got all my darts. Got all my rival rounds. I've got rival blasters. I've got my main primary. You know what? I think I got all my stuff. Hey, well, thank you guys for watching. Very glad I had some people watching because I think for a solid 30 minutes, it was me by myself. And I was like, cool, I'm all right having fun by myself for 30 minutes, putting my blasters together. But I enjoy getting to converse and talk with other people too. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it. You'd have to exit out of the live comment stream, so you can do that later. But if you would like it, that would mean a lot to me. If you're not subscribed to my channel, that would mean a lot. If you subscribe, you don't have to. Encourage your friends to subscribe also. I'm trying to get more videos out on a more consistent basis because we had a death in the family recently, and so I've been very preoccupied. My job has been to take care of my wife and not Nerf. And so now that I have a little bit more time on my hands, I'm trying to do some more Nerf. So make sure to subscribe so I know that people actually want to watch what I'm putting out there. And if you have any comments or ideas for new videos, be sure that once this video is over, when you comment, those comments are permanent. And so go ahead and comment. Let me know if there's any ideas that you have for any future videos that I might do. Cool. I think that's it for that. Yeah. Really appreciate having you guys out there. It means a lot. Really looking forward to the event. Josh, I know you're going to do a phenomenal job. Very looking forward to hanging out with you guys and anyone else who's heading out there. So get on out there and nerf your turf, guys. Have a blessed day. All right. Bye-bye.